Me. Gotta find my inner motivation. Alright, good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, tax day in the United States for poor people. It's 7:30 in the morning, New York time, Bentley London lunch. Welcome to today's Forex Trading Strategy Session. My name is McDonell. I'm Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Thank you for being a client. If you're watching a recording of this video, maybe you attended this event and you're watching it again, just to pick up pearls of wisdom. Or if you missed the event and this is your catch-up, then please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment and share with the world what you learned and what you took away. Put it another way, we're going to spend about an hour doing technical and fundamental analysis. Maybe you could pay it back by spending 10 seconds, maybe 5 seconds per second by leaving a comment or a like. Pay it back, dude. Come on. So today we got Draghi speaking at the press conference. Obviously interest rate decision and then discussion and stuff like that. So it's going to play wild and wacky games on the market until that comes out. But we can still do longer term technical analysis. Maybe throw down some binary scalps or something like that. So on and so forth. So let's get this party started. Now remember, trading and investing is risky, not appropriate for everyone. However, past performance does not predict future results, even good or bad. Always stay small, humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. All right, so this is euro. You want to sell at the psych level? You never sell at the psych level anymore. All right, so 11:34 is the current time, GMT. This expires at 11:45, so that's about 10 minutes from now. What do you think? So that's about 7 minutes, right? Boom. All right, cool. That was good. You never close your eyes. Why would I do that? On a psychological level. Fundamentally speaking, I don't think Draghi is going to scale back any quantitative easing, so on and so forth. So why not? Also, if I flip this to a 15-minute chart, watch the oscillator. Oh, snap! And then if you look at the moving averages, it basically just sold at a psych level, but it's also a 21 EMA. All right, so we'll see. Don't make a big deal of it, huh? All right, so as far as overnight, what's been going on? That Chinese data came out that we covered Monday. Sure enough, it wasn't really good. Not a big surprise. Okay, not a big surprise. Normally in a scenario like that, when you get poor Chinese GDP or industrial production, that kind of stuff, Aussie falls, but Aussie's already already has its own problems. The poor GDP isn't a surprise, so not a huge reaction in the marketplace. And in fact, the big issue with the Aussie is that we're so close to that 75 level that there's just nowhere to go right now. We're on baseline support. So there you go. So yeah. Not a big action, but remember what I'm trying to look for and why today is interesting when it comes to the ECB is I want to see evidence of quantitative easing at the ECB trickling down throughout the European economy, which would eventually create new demand and new factory orders from China, because the Eurozone is actually China's largest trading partner. So once Europe is somewhat back online, they start placing orders in China, and then China stabilizes and they come online and they draw down their inventories of commodities, and then suddenly 12 to 18 months from now, Canada, Australia, so on and so forth are doing quite well. Nice. Yeah, weird. So let me know where I lost you, and I'll reset the charts. Yeah. Then I talked a little bit about some professional managers are looking at the European data, like today's German CPI, to try to figure out countries are benefiting the most from quantitative easing, so that they can buy stocks in the right indices and stuff. But I'm just buying and selling euro, right? All right, so chart's okay. Yeah, all right, so carry on. So let's take a look at gold here. Looks like the slow but steady trend is continuing. This looks like a sell. 15-minute chart says down to me. Hourly chart is not amazing, but you know, okay. So in 15 minutes, okay. So that could be a sell if you were doing that. You could sell some gold. Right? And get a little extra time, a little extra. Gold. Boop. Okay, you could take a look at oil. What's going on here? Yeah, this is where you know you're wrong. So, Love Little set up off the 382, then right into the fib wars. What I mean by fib wars is those that want to buy it, they're going to buy it off this top, and our 382 was fine, the short, and but it falls right into someone else's buy zone. So and then of course look, they use the oscillator to their advantage. So for the bulls, congratulations, nice little buy there. I still don't get it. So my analysis is offline for this one because once again there is evidence that Saudi Arabia and some of their buddies are increasing oil production. And we already have too much oil, but whatever. So this is still going up. So there's other powers that be that are making these things go up. One interesting thing is the U.S. government yesterday, the Department of Energy, released an outlook, and they said that for the next 2 years they expect oil to be less than $80 a barrel. Well, that's pretty interesting, So even the government's behind it now, saying, you know what, there's lots of oil, there's going to continue to be lots of oil, and so forth. And pretty soon, politicians are going to start claiming, responsibility for driving down prices, making gasoline more affordable. My retort to that would be, well, A, you didn't do anything about it, and then B, if oil prices have dropped by 50% this year, how come gasoline prices haven't dropped by 50%? Right? Somebody's not benefiting, right? So anyways, could you sell oil up here? Price action scares me, but could you do it? Would it be a reasonable trade? Do you have resistance? Yeah, you totally could, couldn't you? And if you're wrong, it's going to go way up, isn't it? Because that's a 4-hour chart. And if it goes higher than that, oy vey, we're going to head way up here. But you know what? I already have that marked out. Thank you very much. Tell your mom. We already did that. So this is a double bottom, and it'll probably come up here. And then next plan is to sell it around, 65. 65 to 70. What do you stink? Smell like a plan? You never close your eyes anymore. Alrighty. Yeah. This one, Well, here's the nice little dip, which is fine. Remember, this whole idea with the SP 500 is buy the dips. Yesterday, we identified multiple levels here, 382, 50%, 618, and then, of course, the actual way down bottom at support. Hopefully, we don't get there. Well, it looks like to me, and looking at here is seeing this Fibonacci retracement that we did yesterday. If I can grab it. Come on now. Okay, you see what I'm looking at? Beautiful little 382. So it came up, came down, and hopefully this heads up to our bullish target here. In fact, since the 382 held, it's suggesting 1618. That puts us way up there. But that might be next week, and we'll need new pivots for that. Okay. So, maybe, baby. Maybe, baby. Okay. Up, down, and around. Let me get rid of that thingy. You need to do. So that'd be interesting if we can get that higher. Like I said, I believe that there's a headwind in the market, and that the market wants to. And that I think one of the things we talked about yesterday is these pullbacks are just rebalancing going into earnings season. But this should go up, hopefully. Very few people benefit on the way down is another way of looking at it. And then, of course, the event risk here is, what if the ECB tapers? Well, it's a silly question, but people ask it. Another way of looking at it is if you're a bull and you get in, this whole area looks pretty interesting to me. So you had your chance, my friend. Right, so you got your price action type entry, very, very clear Fibonacci kind of stuff. So you could have bought the what is this, the DAX? Yeah. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You couldn't do it now, or you shouldn't do it now, because now you're in, like the other example we looked at, you're in someone else's sell zone. So you're right in the middle of fib wars, and that's terrible. If you're going to buy it low. That's that. Zip over here, boop, and piggy, right? Piggy. So let's zoom out a little bit, just a little bit of pound for you. Starting to look like an inverse head, don't you think? Okay. Well, let's take a look at how we have the analysis set. It looks like we thought it would, it came down here, and I have it drawn coming way up here and then dropping way low. Not so dramatic to the upside, and fairly decent projection on the downside. But now we're definitely stable here, and it looks like an inverse head and shoulders to me. So now we need to adjust. Okay. Notice how this low was put on basically the morning of the 15th, or no, I guess that's the afternoon of the 14th. And we've been hoping that the middle of April is a reversal period for the British pound. So again, I don't know, there's an extreme amount of confirmation bias. But I find it fascinating that these things are happening right in the middle of April. Okay. So that's true. How do you play this out? What you do is you measure the neckline. So let's say that's the neckline. And then you take the distance from the neckline to the crown. And then you take that measurement and you place it on the neckline for the break to the upside. So we'll place that here. We'll deselect it. I think we can delete some of this. No, don't want to delete that. Okay, so the projection now is a trade kind of back up into that zone. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. Kind of back up into here. And you can see we've played this area before, and it'll probably come back into play again. If you're going to overlap it with pivots, I would do it something like that, because it's a guesstimate. But head and shoulders patterns are very often misidentified and misused. One of the key components is that it's a reversal pattern, and a lot of people love to look for head and shoulders patterns in the middle of consolidation. Well, that can't be, because a reversal pattern needs a trend to reverse. So I look at this, and is that a decent enough size move? And I would say, yeah, okay. And then you get the, basically it's a significant drop with a 1, 2, 3 reversal, but we call it an head and shoulders. And that puts us back up into this trading range. And if it's a true reversal, if these weekly pivots were still valid, which of course we're already looking to next week for that, but if they were, I would expect up to the gray zone, down to this weekly pivot, which you can see is previous support, and then up into here. And that would be sort of a macro 1, 2, 3 reversal. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay, looks like Euro USD is coming down. The general plan on this one, if you recall, it dropped, came up, retested 106, and then down. Did I place a call or a put? Yeah. Good. Well, it got the direction right. I don't know if it expired profitable or not, but whatever. So anyways, high five. Good trade anyways, right? Good little scalp. All right, so this is our USD yen. And yeah, right. Just kind of getting tired of it, huh? I'm going to get rid of some things. Let's clean house a little bit. Do we need this? No. Boop. Let's zoom in. And I don't believe we need the fibs anymore because it ain't trending. Boop. And here we are at support. Yep. And this is a lot like what happened last year. Right? This is, and this could continue. I'm not saying it will, but this could continue for another, what is it, April, May, June, July, another 3 months. That you keep buying it at 19, it goes to 21. You buy it at 19, it goes to 20, 50. You buy it at 19, it goes to 20, right? Maybe things will dramatically change and it goes down to 18 and goes to 20. But it's all the same. Oh, then the names will change today. All right, so anyways, yeah, very unfortunate because obviously I want a trend. But that's why I removed the fibs, right? We had a nice fib. It's not trending right now. So that's that. So I might change my general strategy here for the next 100 days. I just might bet psych levels and jam stops. It's either that or work really hard and shoot at rabbits and eat small meals. Yeah, well, it's better than starving, right? What would you do in this scenario? Oh, and by the way, I just looked it up. That Euro USD, the one I took at the morning, I won. Yeah. Nice. So the binary made money. Nice. That was hard, right? Well, remember, I did my homework. I make it look easy because I earned it. Don't be fooled. Oh. In fact, just looking at this, let me pull this back up. Here's proof I earned it, right? Let's see. I won, I lost, I won, I won. Huh. Right? So, I doubt I'm that lucky. So clearly, you got to earn it, right? Simple. All right. Well, here's USD CAD, and some of these trades were on this pair, right? And all it was buy at support, sell at resistance. It's not that hard, is it? Where do you get mediocre results? Well, trading in the middle of the range, right? That's where you get into trouble. It should be fairly easy up there. It should be fairly easy down there. And so right now we're in the middle of the range, and if you've forgotten the range, let me back you out here. That's where we are on a daily basis. So you buy in the lower red. In fact, you know what? This is how I typically have it. Let's just. I like it sea foam green. I think it's called dark sea green. We used to have a seafoam green BMW with sand leather interior. Like, really? It's like women's shampoo, right? It has to have 3 edible ingredients in it. Otherwise, it won't sell. It's chocolate strawberry vanilla shampoo. Mmm. Yeah. All right, so anyway, so you buy at the bottom, sell at the top, and the rest is for mediocrity, right? But I don't think it's that complicated. Okay, so that's USD CAD. I look at it. It looks like an uptrend, but I don't want to buy or sell right now because we're in the middle. There's no moving averages here, but to test you and give you this chart and say draw the moving averages, and you should have enough information based on the oscillators in a similar fashion that I can, take out the line on the oscillators, give you the moving averages, and say draw the MACD and draw the stochastics, and you should be able to do it. All right. So how about you USD CAD as a scalp though? So that's sort of that's a daily and a 4-hour chart, right? What about the same thing now on a different fractal? Let's go to USD and see if you could scalp. And all right, here's the cash market binary. Or no, I mean cash market, not binary. And look what we have going on. Oh yeah, a weekly central pivot point. And what else is it? $125. Let's put it down here. 50. 125 and a half. Midpoint cycle of Ales right about there. Could you perhaps, potentially, maybe, maybe, baby. I'll never be able to catch this now. There we go. No, horizontal line. I don't want a horizontal line. No. Come on, dude. There we go. Yay, me. All right. Rosie Brown? No. Where is it? Rosie Brown. Oh, misspelled it. All right. So could you perhaps, maybe, baby, scalp that? Be short just a few minutes, maybe? Totally could. Is it the world's greatest? No. But look at this. Could you consider this a retracement of the larger move? Could you possibly have it drawn out this way? Oh, look, that's a 618 Fibonacci retracement. Could you sell it off of the weekly central pivot point? Oh, yeah. Could you sell, there's a lot going on here, right? Midpoint cycle level, central pivot, oops. Oh, well, I'll never get that. All right, so there's a lot going on there, and there's multiple levels of resistance, and you could scalp it if you wanted to, if you were a scalper. Sure you could. What was that rate, E? Okay. You don't think so? How many people think you could? By scalp, I mean pick up, a trade that falls for 10 to 20 to 30 minutes. Or how about this? Sometimes when you're trading the news, one strategy is to get your trade in now, and your goal is to get your stop loss to break even before the news comes out. And you're either hero or zero. Because, if the news is surprising, that could move 30 or 40 or 50 pips in a minute, and you get paid. And if it goes against you, you get knocked out, and you're like, oh, man, but you had the opportunity. Risk-free opportunity. Or nearly risk-free opportunity if your stop's at break-even, right? So that's a thought, if you wanted to. But you have to realize that's a scalp, right? Okay. And hang on. Where's my mouse? have 18 screens. Sometimes I lose my mouse. So it's a scalp, but you're in the middle of a range and blah, 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 blah on the longer term charts, right? So less ideal on the longer term charts. Let's take a look at the yens. Just wondering if monthly pivot will act as support again. All right. What do you think? On the hourly, it says get ready, because this ain't funny. All right? That's what it says here. Get ready. And this chart says, yeah, get ready. That's a 15-minute. So this is prime time ready for a pro-CAD move, or at least a anti-yen move. Price action wise, it's really tricky. And so again, maybe this is something that you head to binary, because as long as you're lower than that, it's bearish. But what the plan I'm talking about, in case I'm not coming, is long in here. Okay. So right now we have a monthly pivot as support and a weekly central pivot as resistance. Pick a team, my friend. Pick a team. It's only confusing if you don't know if you're a bull or a bear. Okay. Piggy, I think we did this one, right? Was that the inverse head and shoulders one? Yeah, I think so. Pivot point theory, S1 to R1 is the projected range. See the bottom is weekly S1, target with R1. And that seems awfully close to our projection based on shoulders, right? It's not far. Look at that. It's almost precise. Wow, cool, dude. So pivots say, because this is the bottom, we're going to have an inside week, and that's going to be a top, not really inside week, but S1 to R1 week. Cool. That's pretty nice. Beep. USD yen, I think we've done. How about Aussie? We haven't done Aussie yen in a while. Hua? Looks like a mess. What a mess. Yeah. Let's get rid of some stuff. It's messy. I don't like messy charts. I'm assuming you have sound. Yeah. Tough day, huh? Uh-oh. No, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think it's. I think maybe it's the webinar company. Hang on. Maybe it's one of these things I do with my computer for so long. That happens. But I think I have. Anyways, all right. Charts are okay. Sounds okay. So what I was saying is, would you agree that this is a reasonable level of support and resistance? In this case, it was resistance, resistance, resistance. I'm trying to grab that little wick, support this double bottom, support this bottom, and then potentially where we are now. Okay? Zoom in a little bit, just a little bit. And we're not quite there, so let it fall a little more and then maybe buy it. Got to be patient on this one because it's a dangerous trade because there's nothing good about the Aussie probably this year. So if you're going to buy it against the yen, well, you better have good support, and we're not quite at good support. Right? So that's that. I might not be a smart man, but I know where support is. So that's Aussie. And then our friend Kiwi. Not getting the movement I was hoping for. Oh, 4 hours is down. Yeah. I think I'm going to take a pause on the yens. Now, if you were a seller, you could argue to use 155 here. We're not really making higher highs, and we're not really making lower lows. I consider this range bound. And that these moving averages, the 200, the 55, the 21, they're dead to me. All I see is 5-8, and all I see is bottom and top. All right, so looks like ECB is coming online here. And that's for their press conference. I'm going to cover that live. I suppose you can't really record it, but if I leave the room, you want to hang out and catch the ECB press conference with me? Sort of like a compliments of the firm for our VIP TradersWay clients. I'd be happy to do that. Okay. Okay, well, why don't we do that? By the way, my gold trade that I took today, here's gold. We placed a put. And, hey, we won. Luffy to your mum. Don't you just love trading? Yeah. Cool. Nice day, huh? Told you it was going to be a nice day. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we wrap up the session here, the recording, and then we'll prepare to hang out in the room and watch the ECB press conference live together. maybe I'll throw down some other binaries and stuff. I like making money for fun, right? Everyone's got to have a hobby. So if you're watching the video and you liked some of the analysis that I did, or if you liked the, what did we trade earlier? Oh, we shorted the Euro USD, made money. We shorted gold, made money. If you like these things, cool. If you like, give it a thumbs up. If you like the analysis, give it a thumbs up. If you learned something new, leave it in the comment section. And if you want to do these daily strategy sessions, just become a client of TradersWay.com. Pretty easy, right, guys? Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average.